All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to unpack some simple, yet seriously powerful ancient strategies. These come from yogic and Tibetan traditions, and they're designed to completely transform your meditation practice. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been meditating and just hit a wall? You feel like you're stuck, you can't go any deeper, you've just hit a plateau? It's super common. But what if the solution isn't about trying harder, but about trying, well, differently? According to this ancient wisdom, the real key might be getting a handle on the fundamental elements that make up our whole existence. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Mastering these can change everything. So let's explore how, starting right from the ground up. Okay, so first things first, we have to start with the foundation, right? Grounding yourself is absolutely essential, and that all begins with the earth and water elements. So the first key here is a specific yogic posture. It's called Siddhasana. And its whole purpose is to directly plug into the root chakra, that's the body's energy center that's connected to the earth element, and create this incredible stability from the ground up. So how do you actually do this? The source lays out 4 really clear steps. First, you take your right heel and place it against the perineum. Then the left heel goes right above it. Next, you kind of tuck your left toes in between the right calf and thigh. And finally, you use the pressure from your heel to keep your posture perfectly straight and upright. And what's the big deal? Why go through all that trouble? Well, the result is this incredibly firm, stable base. The source really emphasizes this. By stabilizing the earth element in this way, meditation just becomes so much easier. You're not fighting your own body anymore. You're using it as an anchor. But it doesn't stop with earth. This practice also connects you to the water element. You see, the source explains that once that powerful Kundalini energy is awakened from the earthly root chakra, it travels up and comes to rest in the sacral chakra. And that's the energy center that governs flow, the one associated with water. When that happens, your ability to sit for long periods of time, we're talking hours, is just dramatically enhanced. All right, we've got our foundation solid with earth and water. Let's build on that. Now we're going to look at the more subtle elements, ether and fire. This is all about sharpening your focus and building up that inner energy. Now, for the ether element, the source points to a practice from Tibetan Buddhism that sounds almost too simple, but trust me, it's profound. All you do is focus on the tip of your nose. That's it. It might sound basic, but the effects are described as absolutely incredible. And if you think that sounds too easy to actually work, just listen to this. The source provides a personal account, stating that with this focus, they're able to get into a deep meditative theta state in seconds and a zero-thought delta state in just a few minutes. I mean, wow. That's the kind of power we're talking about when you master ether. Okay, let's turn up the heat, literally. For the fire element, we're talking about generating your own internal energy. The technique for this is a famous Tibetan practice known as tumo. It's the one that lets monks stay warm in freezing cold temperatures. The method is this really powerful visualization. First, you imagine your body is totally hollow, kind of like a balloon. Then, you picture a small flame right at your solar plexus, your core. And then, just with your focus, you mindfully grow that flame. Feel its heat expand until it fills your entire being. You're literally harnessing your own inner fire. So we've covered earth, water, ether, and fire. What's left? The final piece of this whole puzzle is the air element, and the key to that is something you're doing right now without even thinking about it: breathing. Look, if you want to master the air element, the path is through pranayama. That's the yogic science of breath control. It makes perfect sense, right? Prana, or life force energy, is fundamentally linked to the air we breathe. So if you can control your breath, you can control your energy. And this is where everything we've talked about really starts to click together. You see, that Kundalini energy we mentioned? The source explains it's basically a supercharged, high-octane form of prana. So it follows that by mastering your breath through practices like Anulom Vilom or alternate nostril breathing, you are putting yourself on the direct path to mastering Kundalini itself. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about a really simple way to amplify everything we've just learned. The source brings up mudras. These are specific hand gestures that can literally synthesize and boost all these elemental energies. And here are 2 incredibly powerful examples to start with. First, you've got the Dhyan Mudra. You just touch the tip of your index finger, which represents water, to your thumb, which represents fire. Simple, right? But it gives your meditation a huge boost. But then you can take it even further. If you use those same fingers but form a diamond shape, you create what's called the Yoni Mudra. And the source describes this one as double the mudra in terms of power. And just to show you how real this energy is, how tangible it can become, the source shares this pretty amazing experience with the Yoni Mudra, actually being able to hear the energy, like a wind sound in the ear. It's a direct sensory confirmation that something powerful is happening. So let's pull all this together. Here is your complete elemental meditation toolkit. For earth, you stabilize your posture with Siddhasana. For water, you cultivate endurance through Kundalini. For ether, you deepen your focus on the tip of the nose. For fire, you generate energy with Tumo visualization. And for air, you master your energy flow with pranayama. Each technique hits a core element to build a truly powerful practice. And that's our deep dive for today. The tools are all here. The ancient secrets are laid out for you, from the ground you sit on to the very air you breathe. So really, the only question left to ask is, which element are you going to connect with first?